Hey, everybody. Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky. I am doing a solo thing tonight. Um, welcome to Tea Time with Bunky. You can catch Tea Time with Bunky every Thursday night live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. You can also catch Tea Time with Bunky on Thursdays on the VGN app. Go in, download the Village Global Network app, VGN app. It's totally free, where you can catch Tea Time with Bunky on Thursdays at 8 a.m. on Culture Shock Radio, Confidence Radio, Radio Facero, Wapter Music, and Gnarly FM. And those are at 8 a.m. on Thursdays. Village Global Network, which can be heard in over 200 plus countries. Shout out to the Village Global Network. Tea Time with Bunky has some new things going on tonight. Like I said before, my technical difficulties, and I thought y'all were on. I'm doing a solo thing tonight, and we're going to do some reflecting back and bring it down a little bit. Sometimes you need some time to unwind. But before I get into all of that, I would like to give a special happy birthday shout out to my little cousin Jamie. Today's her birthday. You can catch her at Jay-Z Creations Salon, which is out of the Rec Center, which is on 42 North Main Street in Liberty. You want your hair braided, you want your hair colored, you want your hair straightened, whatever you want, she can do it. Eyebrows, eyelashes, haircuts, all that stuff. So you want to find her, go to the Rec Center, Jamie Hinton, Jay-Z Creation Salon and Services. So that's a shameless plug out to my little cousin. So tonight, I am going to, like I said, I'm going to be reflecting back on some of my favorite shows, some of the shows, and I really want you guys to join in. Tonight, I'm just bringing it down a notch. It'll be more interaction and more reflecting. I'm not sure if it'll be like a whole hour tonight, but we'll just see how the flow goes. So the first show I want to talk about is The Journey of Self-Healing. That was one of the shows. It was a journey of self-healing, and we're going to be doing the reflection. Hey, Kim, thank you. I appreciate you. Spiritual and emotionally, throughout this process of Tea Time with Bunky, and before that, before Tea Time with Bunky began, I was on an imaginary journey that I didn't know I was on. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this, where you're going through inner struggles and battles, and you have that hurt child, hurt person in you. And it takes a lot to recognize what those problems were, trying to deal with them. And in the process of that, whoever's gone through that or going through that, I can speak for myself. I can see where it has changed me, my personal growth and my experience. Having that particular conversation, it really made me dive deep and look into myself, things that I was afraid to do, questions I was afraid to ask. We all know that. We all been there in that situation where during a different time era where asking questions was prohibited. Asking questions was prohibited. And it stopped. Hey, VGN, and it actually stopped your growth at that time. So when you should have been asking questions, certain times of your life, you didn't do it, and it could stunt you. That's what it did for me. And I was a scared little child. As an adult, I was a scared little child. But over all of these 3.5, 4 or 5 years, the self-healing, letting myself know that it's okay to feel how I feel, letting people know that it's okay to feel how you feel, and realizing that no one is perfect. It may look like it. It may look like it to some people. That's what I say about some of these social media platforms. Like, we see these people living their best lives, and they think that's what it is. And people get depressed and sad, and because they're trying to copy and emulate these lifestyles that people are putting forward, these perfect relationships, and their households are perfect, and they're beating themselves up when in all actuality they need to sit back and heal themselves and realize that you're okay just as you are. And I'm learning that. So my journey is still going on. I'm still healing myself. And during that time of growth, you're going to lose people. We talked about that, but that'll get into the power setting boundaries. We're going to talk about that. One of my most recent shows with Shad, one of my political Tuesday, shout out to Rashad in the studio with Direct Boys. We talked about convenient equality, convenient until it's inconvenient. So for people that don't know the story of this, where that episode came from, there was a situation here in my town where an officer, and everybody that knows me know I'm all for the officers if you're right, but if you're right, I don't deal with them too much, but I believe in law and order. And this particular officer was out there doing his job. And for those that are around where I live, we know that during the summer months it's pretty crazy out here. Driving on these roads is like playing double dutch, basically. You're like jumping in. You're like, can I go out now? You're driving, you're watching in front of you, you're watching behind you because you don't know what's going to happen. So this particular officer, he's out there doing his job, writing tickets, going to calls, but writing tickets. And he was, how can I say this? He was targeted, basically, boom. He had a bullseye on his back from a certain community that felt as if he was targeting them. But in all actuality, if you broke any kind of law, this officer was going to pull you over because that's his job. So he's convenient. It was convenient to have him here, which I think he was too good for here. It was convenient to have him here when things are bad. He looks like me. When I say that, African American, he's black. I felt safe with him on the roads. Most people that know him felt safe on the roads. But his people didn't back him up. Okay. It was convenient to have him until he became an inconvenience and it was going to begin to interfere with the voting. And when I speak about voting, I mean block voting. For those that don't know, when block voting is when a group will come together, they'll put their ballots in for a certain particular politician, they'll write in the same name, boom, they'll mail them in. And half the time, sometimes it'll help push this candidate over. So it's a lot of political stuff. At the end of the day, this man lost his job because he was no longer convenient for them. It was really, well, he was inconvenient to their platform because in order for these people to get the votes that they wanted, he had to be the sacrificial lamb. So we're going to get into something else about that in a minute. Let me just take this quick and short break. Hi, everybody. This is Bunky. I would like to invite you to my groundbreaking episode of Tea Time with Bunky. I will be having my first live studio audience. Yes, Tea Time with Bunky has a live studio audience for my episode that's airing on October 3rd. Yes, October 3rd. I will be giving away 15 Tea Time with Bunky tickets to the first 15 people that ask for it. So the panel discussion will be menopause, something that all women will be going through one day. So tune in, let's talk about it. Women in different phases of it, and the audience can ask questions and be a part of. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Special Tea Time with Bunky, October 3rd. Hit the button and get your ticket. See you there. Yes, that episode, I'm going to get back to the convenient equality, but that episode is a special episode that I'm doing at 45 North Main at the Rec Center. That episode is going to be live in the studio. I've done in the studios before, but this is different because I'm having an actual audience. And there are three panel guests, and it's women. And we're going to be talking about menopause and the different stages that we're in. That was a taboo question. That was a taboo conversation at one point. But y'all know me, I like to talk about it. Let's talk about it. But let's go back to the convenient equality. Reflection on equality, privilege, and racial justice in my community and beyond. Okay. Racial equality and inequality in my community. The first time I felt it, and a lot of people don't want to talk about this growing up, but I'm sure they've all, when I say you, I'm talking to people that live here, have felt it but was in denial. Or maybe I was the only one who was in denial, because I used to think it was all kumbaya. It was all good where I lived. It was great growing up. But I talked to someone that I had went to school with a little while ago, and we were talking about the situation that happened with the officer. And she was like, Bunky, it's always been like that. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I never noticed it. Maybe because my grandmother kept me so separated, meaning I wasn't allowed to go to house parties. I wasn't allowed to do a lot of things. I wasn't staying over a friend's house, old school. That wasn't happening. So I didn't feel how it could have I could have felt if I went to friends' houses as a teenager and felt racism. Black girl going into a white home, but not intentional. My first experience, I've spoken on this, my first experience of feeling it was second grade. And I didn't know what that feeling was. Okay, I just know that the teacher said to the other little girls that they didn't have to play with me because I'm not like them. So that's the first time I experienced racism at Benjamin Koza Elementary School in Fallsburg. That was the first time I felt racism, but I didn't know what it was, if that makes any sense to anybody. I'm a little kid, you don't know what that is. So that was the first time I felt it. The first time I felt it as an adult was recently, well, not recently, a little over 2 years ago, when I was employed at a certain place. And my supervisor was racist, and it was deemed, it came up founded, she was racist. And for the first time I felt it, because at this time, remember, we've just gone through the George Floyd killing and all the marching and everything going on. So now I'm in my feelings, and now I can identify it. And people was telling me, well, no, that's not it. You're wrong. It's not like that. And I kind of allowed them to play that and push that scenario in my head. And then this thing happened with the young officer. And then I was able to call it out for what it is. So for those people out there, if you're dealing with someone of a different ethnicity, or a different from your group, there's like one person that's not like the rest of you or whatever, and they're saying they're feeling a certain kind of way, listen to them. Don't dismiss it and be like, oh, that's not what it is. Or don't dismiss it as, oh, that's just how they are. Or, oh, well, that's how it's always been. It'll never change. Because that's not true. Because I'm learning that the more you have the conversation, people are talking about it, it's making them uncomfortable. It's making people uncomfortable. So you can't allow people to be uncomfortable if it's hurting you, or if it's hurting people around you. Your kids are growing up in this area. Your grandchildren are growing up in this area. You have to learn how to speak up and speak out, because that's the only way things are going to change. And when the young lady that I spoke of earlier said to me that it's always been that way, so I can only imagine what I would have felt if my grandmother had allowed me to go to friends' houses growing up as a kid. So that was another one. Another one is with Jesse Hinton L, licensed clinical social worker. The power of setting boundaries. Oh my God, I could talk about this one forever, because I'm not a boundary setter. I'm just becoming a boundary setter, and I'm just learning to accept boundaries. Now, when I talk about boundaries, I'm talking about things you will allow people to say and do to you in your professional life, as a mother, in your job, as a supervisor. When I was 6 years old, I saw the KKK marching in the city of Newburgh. Now, how did that make you feel, Vanessa? I've never seen that. I felt it, and I know that they're here. I know that the Oath Keepers, the Oath Keepers are here in Sullivan County, and the most Oath Keepers are a part of the law enforcement, actually. Yeah. Didn't know what they were until that January 6th situation. Didn't know. So yeah, tell me how that made you feel. I can't imagine. And how did your family explain that to you? I couldn't even, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine. But setting the boundaries in your personal life as an adult, I'm learning to set boundaries. And what I mean by that is I'm not allowing people to say what they want to say to me, um, treat me any way that they think they can treat me, and still be okay in my circle. Um, that goes for associates and it goes with family. I've lost a lot of people, close connections that I thought were close connections because I set boundaries, because it's not okay. It's not okay for you to say what you want to say to me because you're older than me. It's not okay to say what you want to say to me because you're in a higher position. It's all about respect. It's all about preserving myself, my mental state of mind. Um, no, it's crazy. It goes so fast. Wait, hold on. We're going to get back to that. Everybody, it's Bunky from Tea Time with Bunky. I'm inviting you to go and download the free VGN Village Global Network app where you can catch me on the radio. Yes, I am on the radio, where you can catch me on Culture Shock Radio, which is in Canada, Rockbox Radio, Radio Pacero, New Mexico, Mexico, WAP the Music FM, which is in the Caribbean, Guadeloupe, Nardi FM, which is in Ecuador, and on Confidence Radio. That's right. You can catch me on these stations. Download the BGN app. It's free. And trust me, it's a totally different experience. Okay, and we're back. Talking about boundaries. In your professional life, I've learned that being in a management role with the setting of the boundaries, and I've seen a lot of supervisors that don't set the boundaries with this. Um, they're friends with their staff. You can't be friends with your staff, because if you're friends with your staff, or all the supervisors out there, you know that when it comes time to do the disciplinary work in that situation, it's going to be too hard and they're going to throw it up and remind you that we're friends. Other people that aren't a part of your group with you and that coworker or coworkers, they're going to feel as if they can't come to you, they can't trust you, because there's a line. There is no line there, because no matter what they say, you're going to take that other person's word for it because you're friends. Um, as being a supervisor, when I was a supervisor, um, I messed up and did that once. I did it one time where I became friends, like friends, with one of my staff. And there were times when this staff was messing up. And when I would go to correct the staff, it was like, we're cool. Well, you should be able to let this go or whatever. And the other staff was pointing out, yo, if we did this, A, B, C, and D would happen. And I had to pull away. I had to pull away and set boundaries with that staff. And then the boundaries became rock solid for everyone. The way I treated one, I treated everyone. So you can't go out with your staff. You can't go to the birthday parties, to the family picnics. You have to set boundaries. And it's not being mean, it's being professional. That's with the work. As a mom, I still have boundaries with my kids. Like, there's certain things they can do around me, and there's certain things they can't do around me. And I have grown kids. My baby is 30. And I have 3 of them jokers, and my baby is 30. And there's certain things that they won't do around me. They won't curse around me. Because I'll be like, yo, what are you doing? There's certain words, they're boundaries. They just know where I stand, what I'm gonna go for, and what I'm not gonna go for. And a lot of parents have problems setting boundaries. Hey, Sean, I really miss you tonight. I do. You'll be back. You could jump on tonight if you want, and I'll see you on Tuesday. A lot of parents have problems setting boundaries with their kids. I've learned, because they want to be their friend. They want to be their friend. They want to go to the, well, they don't, do they go to the club anymore? I don't know if they go to the club anymore, but they want to go to the club with their kids. They want to drink and party with their kids. They want to, I don't know what that's about. I don't know if it's being a cool parent or I don't know what it is, but I think it's crazy. Hey, senior, I'm talking about boundaries. I'm reflecting back on some of my favorite shows. It's a solo night. I don't know if it's, I don't know what it is, why parents can't draw a line with their kids. And personally, I think they respect you more if they know where they stand with you, because I wish my kids would come up in here cursing like a sailor and going crazy. Now that's what we're not doing that. We're not doing that because they knew from the jump, being as small as I am and having boys, I always told them, I know one day you're going to be bigger than me. Hey, birthday girl. It's the birthday girl. I gave you a shout out, Jamie. I told them about where they can find Jay-Z Salon Spa at in the rec center. I gave you a shout out. Enjoy your time. Get off of Facebook. Um, so yes, I totally lost track. But yeah, with being a parent and your boundaries, you got to have it, and your kids will respect you a lot more. A lot more. With my podcast, my boundaries, I found that um hey Jacob, thank you for tuning in. I'm doing a solo tonight, reflecting back. With my podcast, with my boundaries, I found that there are certain things I have on my show. There's certain conversations, certain topics I have on only because it's my comfort level. It's my comfort level. And if it's not about what I am, like there's a lot of conversations that I have on the show that I'm on there. You're welcome, boo boo. Oops, I'm sorry. That I have on my show because I'm curious. I want to know. I want to know. So I asked a question. That's what Tea Time with Bunky is about. I want to know more about the background, what happened, how'd you get to where you are? Curiosity. So I'm going to have that conversation. But if it's a show where I just really can't get behind the topic, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to kindly pass on that. So I do have my boundaries with that, and I'm really thankful and grateful for boundaries. And I'm really thankful for Jesse for coming on and us talking about all the type of boundaries that I had no idea about. The boundaries with the social media. I'm very familiar with the boundaries, with the personal boundaries, like I said, and the professional boundaries. So there's so many boundaries, and I think everybody needs to get out there. It comes apart with your journey of healing, where you set those. Hey, Pedro, where you learn how to set those boundaries. Once you're in your healing place, you know what you're going to accept, what you're not going to accept, because people are only going to treat you the way you allow them to, if that makes any kind of sense. I had this conversation with this young lady today, and I was trying to get her to reword the way she spoke about herself, the names she would call herself, because it was a reflection to me of how she viewed herself. So I told her that we're gonna have to sit down and talk a little bit more, because I honestly didn't like how she was, the title she was giving herself. They were all negative, and I don't think she was realizing that she was speaking that into her life. So the personal growth and the healing will totally help you set boundaries in your life. One of my first shows, Lord, spirituality versus religion. Oh God. Walk in your own path. Spirituality versus religion. We'll get to that. I am 37 and I never curse in front of my parents. I don't feel comfortable talking to my mom about intimate relationships. See, I am 54 and I will not. I wouldn't do it either. I would never. Well, I don't curse, so I don't curse, but I wouldn't feel comfortable doing it in front of my elders. That's just how I was raised, you know. And apparently that's just how you were raised. And it's not a control thing. It's not old school, as people say, oh, that's old school or whatever. It's not. I look at it as a form of far from it, senior. Far, super far from that title. Let me do this next commercial. Super far, senior. Hi, this is Bunky from Tea Time with Bunky Podcast Radio. I'm inviting you to tune in to Tea Time with Bunky every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for enlightening discussions, empowering stories, and dialogues. Trust me, you want to hear them. On Tea Time with Bunky, no conversation is too big, no conversation is too small. We have conversations from inspiring stories of triumph and survivor tales to discussion on politics, promoting your local businesses, and exploring everyday life topics. Trust me, this podcast is your safe space for open dialogue, healing, and self-discovery. Doesn't get any more real than having a hot flash. Hello, the fan. So I invite you to tune in on Facebook, on YouTube, and Instagram. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on these conversations that matter most to you. I will see you there. Hey, welcome back, senior. Yeah, no, that senior, no, I'm not. And you know what? The problem is it may come off like that because I always say what I don't do. And that's because you got to understand, I grew up in a very religious house. And I am so thankful when I get into the spirituality versus religion. And when people hear me talk about how I say I don't rock with religion or whatever, I don't know if they take it wrong, because I grew up in a very religious house and I am so thankful. I thank God every day for my roots. I do. I thank God for the way I was brought up, the way I was raised. But yeah, I wasn't allowed. I think I went to one house party, maybe one and a half, because I might have had to leave early in my life. I didn't drink because I saw what it did to people around me. I didn't do drugs because I saw what it did to people around me. So I'm like very sheltered and reserved. And especially now at this age, I'm like, I don't think I want to do that because it's just not in me. But growing up, like I said, very religious. And I grew up in a way that I'm sure most of you, whoever grew up in a religion, a strict religion or a foundation, like if you grew up Baptist or Pentecostal, I was Pentecostal, but I'm always Pentecostal, but I just don't practice like that. If you grew up Seventh-day Adventist, Jehovah's Witness, Muslim, whatever you grew up, you always believe, you were taught that what you are, your practice is right. Everybody else is wrong. And that was something that I battled with growing up, but I didn't question it. I didn't question it. But as I got older and I saw how divisive it can be. Religion can be very divisive. And I had to question, and I stepped back from going to the actual church building. And I know the Bible says you must assemble yourself together. I know that. And when my spirit says, Bunk, you need to go to church, boom, I go, I run. But when I look at all the hypocrisy that goes on, when people talk about one thing, that it's so much judgment and it's so much preaching hell and damnation, and it just wasn't for me. I tell people I'm spiritual because I had to learn to separate the two between religion and my relationship. Not talking about anybody else, so don't come for me. My relationship with God. I had to learn that I had to create a relationship for God, my relationship with God and my love for him outside of the church, if that makes any sense. And I knew that it was going to ruffle some feathers and put some waves in water, but I didn't know that the backlash would be like it is. It's a lot of backlash when you're learning God for yourself and you're walking your own path, the path that God laid for you. I'm not moving like a sheep or a horse. They got the blinders on where they could just look straight ahead and they don't see what's going on on the side of them and see how it's affecting them and how it all plays a part in your life. Now, my relationship, I'll tell you, look, I'm Jesus all day. That's who I am. I'm never going to change. But I just can't do the religion. And like today, it was said to me, I don't know if people got a chance to see it, but I removed it. It's no longer there. Someone said to me, um, commented on a picture, and they were like, well, yeah, you're both beautiful, but you need to go to church. God knows your heart. I mean, it was like, it was like a dagger to my heart. Number one, when I put pictures up, I'd be like, oh, this is a cute picture. Oh, I like this picture. But it's never for, oh, you look like this. No, 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 no. That's not, I'm not a vain person. I don't like attention, believe it or not. I don't like attention. But that put a dagger in my heart because it was a religious person that said it. And I'm like, well, yeah, God does know my heart. And he knows my heart is pure. And if I make a mistake, I instantly feel condemned. And then I go to God with that feeling. And I go to him for those that grew up in, I don't really know Baptist too much because I'm not Baptist, but I think it's like the same. Like in Pentecostal, we were always taught that when Jesus gave his life, that broke down a veil. So you didn't need a go between to get to the Lord. You can go to him yourself. You don't need to go to the priest, to the rabbi, whatever, to be connected to God. Like Jesus was a sacrificial lamb. He sacrificed his life so that we can go to the Father. And I don't know. So that's why I don't do religion. I don't do, because religion hurts. And it comes from, those type of things come from people who are closest to you for the most part. They're closest to you. They cause you pain. I'm very sensitive when it comes to my spirituality and my walk with the Lord. And that's why I'm always like, no, 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 no. I'm not perfect. When I say I am so far from perfect, I am so far. There is nothing perfect about me. There's not, there, what? No, it's not. But I'm just not super crazy. But there's nothing perfect about me. I just try to do right. I try to treat people right, which I think we should all do. We should all treat people the way we want to be treated. We should talk to people the way we want to be talked to. That's why I go into politics so hard. I hate politics, and I appreciate Shad. Shout out to Rashad from In the Studio with the Rec Boys. I appreciate him doing Political Tuesdays with me on Tuesday, because I wasn't going to do it because it drives me crazy, and I wasn't getting politicians on. Not that I really wanted to talk to them too much, because I don't know. It just seems like, to me, when you have faith in a politician, even though they're man and they're going to fail, nobody's perfect. But it seems to me like a lot of them go into office and go into spots just to get their name out there, or a title. And once they get in position, everything they promised you, they turn their backs on. But when me and Shad dove deep into it, he mentioned it in our last, not the last episode, the last Political Tuesday, we had Miss Michelle Frazier, who's running for New York Senate District 51. We talked about how, okay, I'll give this. Wait, we're going to talk about I'll give this, the quid pro quo in 1 second. Quick blackout. Okay. He was talking about, like if he has his rec center at 45 North Main Street in Liberty, keep plugging it. He has his rec center, and we always would mess with each other. Well, you should run, or you should run, you should get into politics. And neither one of us wants any parts of it. But he would have to, if people signed off for him, to get the basketball court in the back of the rec center, or maybe to expand the rec center, or to build another one across the street, or whatever. It all sounds good. And he's doing an amazing job in the community, but in order for him just to get that little bit, what would he have to do for that? He would have to sign off on something that's more detrimental to the community for just this one little thing, which isn't little to the community, but he would have to explain to the kids and to their families, look, okay, I got us this, but for this little corner, we had to give up 15 miles. That's a little extreme, but basically you get what I'm saying. So absolutely, Shad. I mean, thank you for always being there for me. So yeah, so I go hard for politics and try to get that conversation out there and have people talk. Look, I just shared it. Early voting. Early voting starts October 26th. October 26th, Saturday, October 26th until Sunday, November. I think it's November 3rd. I don't have a calendar in front of me. I think it's till November 3rd. If you don't want to go out there on election day this year, because it's going to be bananas, it's going to be insane. If you don't want to go out there, do the early voting. I do the early voting. I will be at the polls on Saturday. On Saturday, October 26th. Yeah, Shad. Tuesday is going to be fun. But I got to talk to you because somebody reached out to me. We have another politician coming on. Her name is Jen. She's running for Aileen Gunther's position, and they reached out to me and want to be on the show. So we'll talk about that. That's not next week. That's in October. So it's important, going back to the voting and things. If you don't want to vote, if you're afraid, how about this? If you're afraid to vote, if you're afraid to go out there, because it's going to be crazy, y'all. People that's listening to this all over. Oh, Lord. Oh, right. That's next Tuesday at 9:00. Kamala. Y'all say her name. Put some respect on her name, please. She is debating Ear. I say Ear. I don't say his name because no respect. They're debating the first debate at 9:00 next Tuesday. But unfortunately, they're muting the mic, so we're not going to hear all the shenanigans. But all you got to do is watch. So like I was saying, for those that are afraid to vote because you don't know what's going to happen, go out there and make sure you early vote, because this is a critical time. It's a critical time. This is a critical election, you guys. It's very important. This is life and death. There's a total of 100 Senate seats. 34 of them are going to be up on the ballot. 34, is it 34? 33 are up for the ballots. We had one of the guests on Tuesday, Miss Frazier. She's running for Senate, so she's going to be up for New York. And there are so the Senate is a total of 100 seats. 33 are up this year. And the House of Representatives, there's 435 seats. All of them, because that's a two-year stance. They're all up this coming election. So even though you don't like it, I'm begging you guys to go back, watch what's going on, watch these candidates, know what's on the ballot, because I remind people to flip the ballot over. You have your voting ballot where you're voting for your people, which is going to be a lot of people on the ballot, you guys. Go out there and know your candidates. Flip the ballot over. When we get closer to time, I'll know what's on the back for New York. I can't say for my district. I can tell you what's on the back to give you a heads up, so you can go back and search it out, know what it is. Because sometimes we read those, I read them, and I'm like, what is this? It makes no sense. It's in political language. And if you don't know political language, you can get lost in it. So make sure you go and you know what's on the back of it. We talk about Project 2025. They're trying to dismiss it. You cannot dismiss it. They're trying to. 1 minute, Ear is talking about he is for No, he was the biggest one that, go ahead, Miss Bunky, go run for it. Never, ever, Vanessa. Never, never, ever, never. They would throw me out of there or somebody would come after me. Tell us why it matters. Why does, well, okay, I really feel like it's all just a game and don't matter who is all game. No, 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 no. It's not a game. It's not a game. First of all, voting at your local levels. We know that the local, your town supervisors, your governors, your mayors, they're making the laws for you. They're affecting your direct life. Your person, they're hitting you, boom, boom, boom. They're hitting you personally. They're connected to the state governors, the state legislators. They're all making laws. I don't I don't know what you do for a living. I can speak for myself. I can speak for myself. What I do, I work in human services. I'm not getting into exactly what I do, but I work for human services. And I know that the governor, Kathy Hochul, mind you, New York State governor, she was against what I do, getting a raise, a pay increase. Okay. So she doesn't think that it's, I guess that our jobs um entitle us to what, for a pay increase. I don't want to say what I do, but I'm going to tell you, to make a long story short, I have 40 clients. Okay. I have 40 clients and I'm involved in their whole life. I'm involved in their whole life. And and do I need a raise? Absolutely. You don't pay me enough money. Human service workers don't get paid enough money. So I didn't vote for her. Sorry, I didn't vote for her. Um, it affected my life. These local laws, these local laws affect your life. Presidency, presidency. We know they're just the front. I tell people all the time, stop just looking at the front, even though we can't just stop looking at the front because at the end of the day, they have the codes to nuclear codes and stuff. But you have your vice presidents and everybody below, but your heads, you see what's going on. You see the lingo. Uh, at a hotel, a little podcasting on the side. Shout out to what we talking about, Gabe. Finally TV. Um, good point on local politics. Yeah. The heads, we see what they're talking about, like the shooting yesterday. Condolences to the two young people that lost their lives, the two 14-year-olds and the two teachers that lost their life down there in Georgia. Um, gun laws. Hello. Personally, I don't think that they can get the guns off the street. That's just my personal opinion. They're like, let's get the guns off the street. No, they have these phantom guns and all that other stuff. You know, all these guns are on the street. They're going to get them. Not everybody has a legal weapon. Personally, I think you should have to go through the process. That's my personal opinion because, like I said, I follow the law. Um, this this kid is 14 years old. He's 14. Apparently, when he was 13, he lived at another location. He was making some crazy comments on social media. There was an investigation. They went out, talked to him. His father saying that the boy wouldn't have access to guns, that they don't have those type of guns in the house, that they have rifles. The guns that are in the house are locked up. This boy was 13 at the time, mind you. And he said, laughed it off. Oh, I wouldn't do anything like that. They up and moved. They moved. This was last year. He was 13. They moved. School just started. This dude went to the school. I guess these guns, you can take them apart and break them down because they're like, well, how did they get the weapon in the school? I guess you can break them down. Apparently, according to one of the witnesses, another little girl said that he went to the bathroom. He has a habit of doing this. He goes to the bathroom without the pass. Next thing you know, he came back shooting. He was 14 years old. And here's another thing. He surrendered. He surrendered. We know if he was black, he wouldn't have surrendered. He would have been taken out, boom, boom, 0.2 seconds. He wouldn't have had a chance to surrender. But the end of the day, he was allowed to have a gun. The shootings Kamala Harris addressed it. She sent condolences to the family, talked about the craziness of it all, and talking about what she would do. She became president. Ear just started talking about how it was crazy, and then he didn't give condolences to the family, and then he just went on a tangent about the war going on. I think he started talking about Afghanistan. Look at the personalities. Look at the characteristics of the people that are trying to be our leaders. That goes for the vice president choices also. Waltz, which I like, and Vance, who is a mini replica of Ear, who he didn't even like. But see, people sell their souls. They sell their souls for a position. Look at who's running. Women, women, women. I don't understand how these women are for him. He's taking away all your productive rights. Look, it's not just about the abortion stance. Because at the end of the day, I'm like, that's between you and God. That has nothing to do with me. It's none of my business. It's none of my business. So I don't have a say on what you do with your body. That has nothing to do with me. But the government and evangelicals feel like they have a right to tell you what's going on. At one point, Ear was a part of this, proud that he took away Roe versus Wade, and now he's trying to backpedal a little bit, all for a vote. Women, you're going to have children. You're going to have grandchildren. You may not be able to have children, and you need to do in vitro freeze your eggs. Now they're considering the eggs that you froze as babies, and you can't decide, like if you and your significant other break up or whatever, what to do with these embryos, because now you should be held accountable. Ear said that if a woman gets an abortion, she needs to go to jail. Who says that? Who says that? Health concerns, health reasons. Maybe they're not ready. Said he's going to make IVF. He lies so much. He lies so much, but yet they can't get. He shot down the insulin, the reduction of insulin, because this is all about money for these people. He's going to say and do whatever he wants to try to get your vote. And black men out there, I need y'all to help me understand how y'all voting for him and going against Kamala. And as Shaw pointed out with D.L. Hughley, when D.L. Hughley spoke at the DNC, which was the bomb, whoever missed it, you'll need to go back and watch it. I recorded so I can watch it whenever I want. But I did watch it live. I was all in it. When she invited him to do the research, invited him to her house, she invited a man who talked badly about her. They all lie, Bunky, like rugs, Gabe. Yes, they do. They lie. I've lost all faith in politicians. That's just what it is. So what was I saying? Oh, well, whatever. Let's talk about Kennedy. Let's talk about Kennedy, who and my Spanish elders too. Why they yeah, I was talking about the black men. Why do you have so much faith in this man and go against Kamala? People say, oh well, she put so many black men in jail, da 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 da. But like me and Shad have talked about on the show, what would that conversation have looked like if there wasn't a black woman sitting at the table? If there were just all older white men or men trying to get a title at that time when she was in that position, what would that conversation have looked like? Those men probably would have been like Ear. Remember when Ear called for the death penalty for the inaugurated 5, wanted the death penalty, and these guys were found innocent, and he still has yet to apologize, because that's who he is. I can't stand him. That's who he is. But so imagine the conversation that would have happened, the type of situation if a black woman wasn't at the table. So y'all are going to vote for this known criminal, this felon, this sex offender. Y'all are going to vote for him. Y'all going to put him in place because y'all hate her so much. Come on, y'all need to do better. You're really disappointed. Some men don't like women being in power. Absolutely. Absolutely. And they'll do anything in their power and go along with the lying narrative to try to make themselves sound right and look right. Right. And then there are like black women for black women for Trump. Ah, I said his name. God dog it. Uh, how is that? Make that make sense to me. Make that make sense. His own wife ain't even by his side. What does that say? If this man's own wife is not by his side and supporting him, and y'all gonna jump back. I mean, he calls y'all his blacks. Really? People, everybody, because people go back, well, Biden did this or Biden did that, or Kamala did this, or Kamala. Yeah, but go back and look at the times. Have they not said, like, well, if we would have known then the cause and effect now, they've apologized, they've done. This man has not apologized for his family banning black people from living in their buildings. He has not apologized for saying all the vulgar things that he says. People give him a pass. Oh, well, that's just boy talk. My boys won't talk that way in front of me. No, they would not. But he just thought it was okay because he was famous. I just need y'all to make it make sense for me. Why you would vote for such a vulgar, disrespectful, racist, because he is. He is. I mean, dude, the way he looks at his daughter, his not Tiffany, poor Tiffany. Poor Tiffany don't stand a chance. But why don't we don't know enough about her? She needs to get out and talk. And she is. They're in Pennsylvania. They're running hard for Pennsylvania because that's that heavy swing state. But like you can go and Google her and just type in Kamala Harris, what she stands for. Because I had to do that. I don't even have my paper in front of me, but when it shows all of no, I don't have it in front of me. All of the bills and things she's a part of. When I say that woman is amazing, that woman is amazing. She has done so much, and I'll have all of those when we do Political Tuesday. I have that for you, Vanessa. It comes down to money. Kamala appears to want to spend your money, and he talks about giving money. He talks about who's he talking about giving money to though, Gabe? To his billionaire friends. He's not giving you no money. People totally forgot. They're like, oh well, he gave us the stimulus checks. Hello, nobody was working. I mean, some of us was working from home, but the economy was shut down. The economy was shut down. And somebody had said, well, he didn't give COVID. No, he didn't. But dude made it worse by denying it. Things got worse because he denied it. He doesn't want to give you money. He wants to give his people money. He wants to be a dictator. He goes in, he tells the older evangelicals, the older Christians, that they only have to vote this one more time. Just one more time. He says, just one more time, and you won't ever have to do it again. What does that sound like? Somebody's telling you, okay, just do this one more time, and I promise you, you won't have to do it again. Sounds like they're trying to set something up to me. He wants to be a dictator. He wants to be a Putin. These are the type of people he idolizes. Come on. The man thinks that Hannibal Lecter is a real person. He calls him the late, great Hannibal Lecter. Although he was a character, and I don't even watch horror movies, but I know Hannibal Lecter was not real. So at the end of the day, we have to look at he should be in jail. How time our black children go to jail, and he gets a pass for running for the highest. Yes, Uncle James. He's running for the top job in America with felonies. We all know if President Obama, my president, had one felony, let alone sexual assault charge. Hello. That man would be in the jail, under the jail. He would not, they would run him through the ringer so much. But this dude can say whatever he wants, whenever he wants, however he wants. And people are going to put a blind eye to it. Listen to the words that are coming out of his mouth. Listen to the words that are coming out of his mouth. And go from there. Because like I had said, I had said it, that if you can vote for him with a clear conscience, it's really making me look at your character. It's not even about politics with him right now. It's not. It's not. It's about his character. I mean, dude tried to put his name on the Bible, tried to put his name on the Bible, and people buying it. People buying it. Trying to sell gold sneakers because it caters to the blacks. Are you kidding me? I need Shaq or The Rock to run for president. Sounds funny, but I'm not joking. I mean, Trump, God dog it, I said his name. He ran and won. So why can't another? So why can't another celebrity run? Right. Uncle James, he's above the law. He's above the law. And these people are going blind and they going hard. And like I had told Shad in last Tuesday's Political Tuesday, that our flag doesn't even mean the same. Right. I hear you, Gabe. I know what you're saying. Our flag right now doesn't even mean the same at this time. I felt the unity during the Olympics. We all felt the unity during the Olympics. But now that the Olympics is over, it's back to reality. What does our flag stand for today? Today, it's a signal of fear in me, because I don't know what I'm coming across. I don't know. Good night, Gabe. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. Everybody, make sure you tune in on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. on Finally TV. What we talking about with Gabe and his co-host Blackout. Shout out to them, my VGN brothers. So yeah, you guys pay close attention. I'm going to get ready to wrap this up. Tune in to Tuesday's Political Tea Time with Bunky with my co-host Rashad from In the Studio with the Rec Boys, Catching Rec, where you can catch their show on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Go to the Village Global Network page. You want to hear about all these great creators I'm talking about, go to the Village Global Network page on Facebook. Yes, sir, on Facebook, and you can know more about these creatives. We all come together. We all present stories and conversations in different ways. The VGN is the one-stop shop. But before I go, I would like to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Like, share, follow, and subscribe. You can catch Tea Time with Bunky every Thursday night live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and on Thursday mornings on Culture Shock Radio, Confidence Radio, Radio Facero, WAP the Music, Gnarly FM, all on the VGN app. Go ahead and download it. Shout out to my village brothers and sisters who were on here. I appreciate your support. I thank you, Vanessa. I appreciate you all for tuning in tonight on my solo journey. This was good. Sometimes I need to unwind. We need to unwind, and God prepares things. Things happen for reasons, and and I appreciate it. And before I do my final thanks, one more final. I did it right. All right, I did it right finally. I finally did it right. So you all make sure you tune in. I appreciate you. Like, share, follow, and subscribe. The father of the shooter was just arrested. Good. They're starting to hold the parents accountable because he knew this was going on. That's why he grabbed his son and they moved someplace else. But unfortunately, other people lost their lives, and he's going to be prosecuted, the son, the 14-year-old, as an adult, as he should be. As he should be. And the father should be prosecuted as well, because he knew that his son had this plan or this intention, and innocent kids who he did not even know, he didn't even know them, lost their lives because this dude is out there dealing with whatever. But before I let you go, but I don't know if you knew this, Sonia, but they said, I heard it on the news, that this guy, there was a call in on that day of the shooting yesterday. There was a call in. 5 schools were going to be hit. 5 schools were going to be hit on this day, and that school that was named was one of them in his previous schools. So this was a premeditated, and let's sit back and see what's going to happen, because I just want to watch, because I'm just still blown away at the fact that he was escorted out. He was escorted out. So you guys have a great night. Great. I appreciate you. Make sure you tune in Tuesday, Political Tuesdays, which airs at 6 p.m. Political Tuesdays, 6 p.m. with Mr. Ketcherek himself. So I appreciate you all. I'll see you on Tuesday. Bye-bye now.